Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Brett, aka the Cruise Sniper, and today I'm going to talk to you from my seat of my truck. I just got the idea that I should tell the story about the man overboard from 2018. I think it's a valuable learning experience, and maybe hopefully you can pick up something from this video as well. If that is something that interests you, stick around. I'll take a few minutes of your time and we'll relive the MSC Seaside from May of 2018. Okay, like I said, I'm in my truck. It was a high of like 96 degrees today. It's 89 right now. The humidity is through the roof. And I know it's not really the best place to, talk about a cruise, but it's the whole premise of what transpired, what happened. And I'm going to take you there, and maybe you can see it through my eyes for the next few minutes of what it was like to actually live it. It was about 3 o'clock on May 16, 2018, 3 o'clock in the morning. I said I was working a hangover and decided to go out on the balcony. MSC Cruises was nice enough to comp my wife and I a balcony room for 7 nights, and I can explain to you a little later in the video, but the more important thing is what transpired that particular day. Now, when I went out to the balcony, it was something I hadn't seen before. And I've been cruising for nearly 20 years, but I saw all crew members using spotlights, circling the water. I could hear chatter on two-way radios. There were more than enough workers out on deck on the promenade at this hour. I mean, you never see that many workers. You might see a handful at any given time, but here they were like every 5 feet. All had what appeared to be binoculars. In the distance, there were a couple Coast Guard choppers. There was a Coast Guard ship, a few container ships, the Carnival Cruise Line ship, and we weren't moving. So one thing told me what was truly happening is we had somebody go overboard. And you think this, sometimes people are like, well, it's their own fault. They were drunk or something. Maybe they got into an argument, whatever the situation may be. What happened here was something that I wouldn't expect. And not that I expect anybody to go overboard. I would hate to see it. I'd hate for anybody to experience what I went through. So, like I stated before, I'm familiar with somebody that is a maritime attorney in the Miami, Florida area. So I just sent this man, this guy a quick message through email just to see if he knew anything else that might be going on. And come to find out, I was the first person to tell him. He did a little article on it, and the video that you'll see the video in here as well, but the video that was uploaded was seen by about 10,000 people like within an hour. After that, there were various announcements made. Starting around 7 o'clock in the morning, the captain came on and stated that, a person had gone overboard. He didn't say whether or not it was a crew or passenger. It didn't quite matter, didn't male or female. These went on sporadically from, maybe every hour on the hour. At 1 o'clock, the Coast Guard gave the MSC Seaside permission to stop their search for the missing person. They would continue the search, and then allowed us to continue on our itinerary. Now, when I say continue on itinerary, I should tell you that, I dropped my glasses there, I should tell you that some of the entitled people, or the people that travel that are entitled, were upset with the decision, but the captain canceled the call in San Juan just simply because, we were only going to be there until about 5, so by the time they moored up and open the gangway, we had to turn around and come back on. So Senor Frogs got passed on that day, and we head to Nassau. And that pissed a lot of people off, and not me personally. There's people that, no matter what, if the cruise line says we're going to San Juan, they expect to be going to San Juan. And they don't, care whether or not the contract states that changes can be made at any given time. What I found funny, because I write books for a living on cruising. I take my real life stories for the last 20 years, and I blend them into fictional characters and try to make it funny, insightful, maybe you learn something. But that's actually what I do for, even though this is not the least bit entertaining, this particular story, at moments throughout the day there was entertainment to be heard, because the more and more people drank, the more and more knowledgeable that they became about man overboard and the systems that are or aren't in place, or what could have been done to prevent this. They were spitballing all kinds of explanations. Some people take center stage. They knew more. Maybe Monday through Friday they were a landscaper, but on this particular day, they were an expert in man overboard. Like I said, I write books for a living, but to live it, it's not, and not make it up. This was one of the more heartbreaking, stories to have witnessed. And so as the day progressed, I felt worse and worse. We did our best to, I didn't, at the time, I didn't know the person personally. By late afternoon, I'll sum it up. Everybody that was bombed, and everybody knew everything about this particular person, the family history, whether or not he was on coke. Shit like that. It got real, and people, manufactured more and more stories to make them sound even better. Around 5 or 6, my wife and I decided to go to dinner. We had reservations for Ocean Cay Seafood, which is the MSC Seaside's seafood restaurant, which is absolutely terrific. If you do have an opportunity to go on the seaside, I highly recommend going to a seafood restaurant. It is top notch. Unfortunately for us, we couldn't quite enjoy it like we would like. We had really terrific seating. We were right on the window. All you saw was water, but all we thought was this poor guy who went into the water and was not recovered. Later on in the casino, I ran across one of my buddies who works for MSC Cruise Lines, and come to find out it was his roommate, and I knew the guy that jumped off. So the guy apparently, I don't know the whole story, but in some fashion was depressed. And I had spoken to him, literally a few hours before he jumped off. And it's too bad that we don't know more about people, or people don't feel more comfortable talking about things that they're thinking that may be troublesome. We just don't have enough ears anymore. We're too busy talking about ourselves. And that to me is a bit sad. And not that we could have changed anything in this particular person's life, but maybe we could have assisted in some way. People ask, well, Brett, how does it make you feel? You've been on a cruise, you've been on tons of cruises, but this is the first time somebody has gone overboard, whether it's a passenger or a crew. And I'll tell you, no matter, it's been a year now, and it still sucks. When I think about it, it upsets me. I wish there was more that can be done with cruise lines. They do have the opportunity to put man overboard systems in place and at least test them out. Not saying we want to test out, people going over, but at least we would know if somebody went over, and maybe you'd have a better precise idea of where the person was located, if in fact that person could be saved. We can say counseling on board. I don't know, it gets into a fine line there. I do truly believe, though, that crew should have a day off a week. I think they should also have free internet, things that make them happy. Give them an hour a day to contact family, friends, whoever it may be. Maybe try to eliminate some of the stresses that they go through. And if you've never experienced it, crews work anywhere from 10 to 16 hours a day, and they do this for their whole entire contract, which could be anywhere between 3 months and 9 months. Be grateful for what you have. Don't be afraid to laugh at a stupid joke. Don't be afraid to cry when it's necessary. When, I always tell myself, cry at least once a day, where you're either laughing your ass off or you truly miss someone or something. I lost my one dog a couple weeks ago, and it hurts. So the tears have been flowing, and I'm sorry for my buddy that we lost last year. I do believe, though, that we learned something from this, and we move on, but we move on with a good memory. Probably one last thing I would say if people ask me, how do I feel? I know this maybe sound cliche, but I would tell you to go on a cruise, because that's truly living. It's an amazing experience to travel to different places, to meet new people, cultures, backgrounds, heritages, and you will simply be amazed just about every day if you open your mind up to it and just want to listen instead of talking. Okay, to put a bow on this, and if you made it this far, I truly do appreciate you watching it, and hopefully it was insightful, gave you some valuable information. If you have a comment, please leave me a comment. If you have something, question, feel free to either leave it there or send me an email at brett@cruisesniper.com. To hear more stories, subscribe. Oh yeah, there was one last thing, and I know you're probably really wanting to know how I did it. If you are looking for comp cruises, I have a video out there now that explains how I receive my cruises for free. And I did 11 cruises last year in 2018. That was about 80 days on the ocean. In 2017, I did about 70 days. And I've been doing this off and on for the better part of 17 years now. It's what I do for a living. It's my passion is storytelling about places I've been or people I've met. And, if that interests you, hop by Amazon and pick up a copy and laugh, have a good laugh at my expense. But until next time, take care, enjoy, give somebody a hug, and enjoy this beautiful day we're having here. Bye-bye.